How to live an abundant life. The recession has forced many people to redefine their values, to change their perspective. Even in times of economic hardship, it is possible to live an abundant life. The key is to examine our underlying assumptions and change them, to swap one idea for another. Steps. 1. Swap sharing for shopping. We often mistakenly believe that an abundant life comes from having stuff. We use shopping for things we don't need like a drug to try to fill the emptiness within. Paradoxically, what will fill that void is not buying more stuff, but sharing the stuff we have. When we are generous, we begin to believe that we have plenty. We tap into the abundant life. In her book Money Secrets of the Amish, author and journalist Lorilee Craker points out that Amish, who live simply, also enjoy financial freedom that goes with it. They share what they have, often bartering with neighbors and friends for what they need. 2. Swap enough for greed. In the years leading up to the Great Recession, we defined abundance as being able to accumulate. But true abundance is based not on the idea of greed, but the idea of enough. Pastor and activist Jim Wallis writes, "Perhaps the best counter to the culture of greed is good as an admonition that comes from the heart of our moral and religious traditions that remind us that enough is enough." 3. Swap morality for market. Many people say they are looking to the marketplace to innovate our way out of this economic crisis. But that is the equivalent of making the market a god, giving it power it really should not have. When people are simply pursuing financial self-interest, the highest market value, they won't always do what's right. Sure, the laws of supply and demand come into play, but they must be tempered by morality. In his book Rediscovering Values, Wallis writes, "The market can be a good thing and even necessary, but it now commands too much, claims ultimate significance, controls too much space in our lives, and has gone far beyond its proper limits. If the market ultimately defines what gets our attention, we will be defined by the moral limits of the marketplace." Page 30-38. 4. Swap trust for fear. This step flows out of the previous one. Materialism is driven, in part, by fear that we don't have enough, that we aren't good enough unless we have certain possessions. Choose not to fear. Wallis observes, the market's fear of scarcity must be replaced with the abundance of a loving God. Page 40. 5. Swap spiritual for material. This step also builds on the previous one. True abundance comes when you are in touch with the spiritual. Seek God. Regardless of your faith tradition, or even if you don't have one at all, taking time to pray and meditate will bring you joy. The spiritual is not just internal, however. Every major religion includes a tradition of caring for the poor and living more simply. Generosity and simplicity are an essential part of spirituality, and the key to an abundant and meaningful life. Money Secrets author Craker writes that today's recessionary times call for a different mentality, one of reassessing spending habits and values, and of focusing not on what we lost but what we have. She adds that as she swapped spiritual for material, it changed her family's dynamics for the better. Ironically, the less we spend on family time, the closer we get. The Amish would not be surprised by this. They know investing in relationships is a far greater venture than devoting money for material things. Tips. Change your life gradually. Do one thing in this list each day, build slowly for change that will last. Be grateful for what you already have, for you may not have it forever. Find other like-minded people to help you find the abundant life through churches or community organizations.